we've seen what the difference is. We've got the PET and the PET for schools. So how are we going to prepare our teenagers? I don't know if your teenager students look a bit like this. You're going to do the PET exam. I strongly feel that the big key to this is motivation. And there are two types of motivation, obviously. There is the motivated 11-year-old who wants to do the PET exam because he finds exams fascinating. Or we have your 11 to 14-year-olds who the motivation is coming from the teacher. More than the teacher? Parents. Yeah. I want my little Jimmy to have a qualification. I want to prove that he's better than the others. English is so important. Okay. My personal motivation for my students is where I teach, they generally go on and do the first certificate or the advance. And I feel very strongly that the PET is a shorter exam and it prepares them well for when they do the first. Another interesting piece of information which I let my students know is this. Yeah. And I think that's motivating. It's an exam they can do. It's going to help them to prepare for the future. And they'll probably pass. This is one statistic for one exam. I'm not saying that every single exam this is the pass rate, but I think it's probably indicative. Okay, so motivation. How do we prepare our students? When I first started, what I did was I went to the various bits of information from Cambridge CESOL. They have a handbook. I looked in the handbook. How do we prepare the students? And this is what the handbook told me. This is their advice to the candidates. And I can just imagine my teenagers coming to me at the end of class, "Hey, Emma, have we covered the core PET topics in class?" I'd love it if they did. I find that quite interesting, that piece of advice. But anyway, I mean, for adults, yes. But I can't imagine my teenagers asking me. Second piece of advice. Yes and no. My problem I have with this is, I don't know about you, but my students tend to say to me, "Emma, we've only done 2 test books, can't we do 3? I mean, the students believe the more tests they do, the better prepared they're going to be. And I don't really believe that doing 200 practice tests. I think we need something else as well. And I think here we're talking about 2 things. We're talking about preparation of language and preparation of techniques. But I think without the language, they can't do it. Okay. What I'm going to do now is focus on the language. What language do my students need? And then we'll look at the techniques as well. So again, I went back to the handbook and I asked the handbook, so what language will I need? Okay, that's quite broad. But in fact, we're very lucky at PET level because the handbook actually lists the language. And I think you have 3 sources of help here. The teacher's handbook actually lists the structures, the functions that the students will need. If you go to the website, you can find the PET vocab list. And this is a list of the vocabulary that's tested. And finally, my final piece of advice is buy a PET level course book. This one isn't bad. Well, I know a little bit. But a PET level course book should be able to help you with that. But again, very, very broad, and I need something a little bit more specific than that. I went to the handbook and I also went to the website. On the website, they've got exam reports which talk about how the students did. And this came out. And the second thing, which is interesting. Okay. let's focus on spelling, so we could spend weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks practicing spelling. But I think we need this. I think we need some guidance, yeah? I think we need to know, well, what sort of spelling mistakes are you talking about? And at this stage, on a Friday afternoon, I think it's time to play bingo. Okay? What I'd like you to do, you can do it on your own or with the person sitting next to you, is write down 9 words that you think your pet level students will make mistakes with. Can somebody give me an example of a word they might make a mistake with? Spelling mistake. With. How do you think they would spell it? Oh? Like that? Yeah. Okay, that's number 1. Can you write down 8 more? You have a minute. If you want to use a partner, that's fine. We've got skiing over here. Have we got something over there?
I haven't got a pen, I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Have you got one in your head? Oh.
No. As in KN.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes, definitely. You had...
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Okay, how we're going to play bingo is I'm going to show you some of the top mistakes. I've got 9 words. If one of my words is the same as your word, you say bingo. Okay? So if I show you coffee, bingo. She'll say bingo. Are you ready? Yes. And the winner gets a free copy of... Oh, I've got some sweets here. Here we go. Any surprises? Bingo, we got bingo over here. You're winning. You get a point. Yes, yes. Mmm.
Yeah, but that's tricky.
Mmm.
That's tricky. That's
Mmm. What's going to be the next one?
harbor. Color.
Okay. Why is that tricky?
Because
Okay. So what can they do? What's the recommendation from Cambridge, do you think?
I think they should accept that.
But it has to be consistent.
I know it has to be consistent.
It has to be
but
consistent.
They have to know that our students are watching TV.
Yes.
They're either American or
Yes,
internet,
yes,
like
absolutely,
American or
absolutely.
British. So
Yes, no, absolutely. The guidelines are American spelling is consistent, is acceptable as long as it is consistent. And that's why those words are in red.